Listeners, you are tuning in to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley and with Corey. This is what normally where Corey says hello.
Well, sorry. Hello. It's just I have you coming in. I've got you on another thing coming in at the same time.
All right. Well, welcome, listeners. You're tuning in to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley and with Corey. And Unlocking Your Truth is a talk show about metaphysics and spirituality. And every week we have a different topic that we talk about. And our goal is to educate and inspire you. And of course, we broadcast from CIVL on 101.7 FM across the Fraser Valley. You can also live stream on our Awaken Your Psychic Abilities Facebook group and also on my Dr. Lesley Phillips YouTube channel. So without further ado, let us begin tonight's show and welcome everyone that's joining and listening to the live stream. So I've been celebrating the last few weeks the launch of my new book. And so every week I am choosing a different topic that is covered in the book. And the book is called Intuition and Chakras. So it's teaching you the relationship between your psychic abilities and your chakra system, and also teaching you how to activate those psychic abilities. So one of the chapters in my book is all about the human energy field, or the aura, the auric field. So that is what I decided we would talk about this evening. And I want to thank all the folks on the Facebook group that posted some questions about that. So let's just start with a little bit of an introduction to the human energy field. And then I promise to get to all of your questions. And if you're on the live stream, then please, if you've got burning questions about the aura or the human energy field, please post them and Corey will be looking out for those questions.
Should I be answering them, or did you want to answer them?
Well, you can answer them if you like.
No, I'll leave it up to you, Dr. Lesley. You're the expert.
All right. So what is the aura? And it goes by a few different names depending on how scientific you want to be. So some people call it the human energy field, or the electromagnetic energy field that surrounds the physical body, or the aura, or the auric field. And basically what it is you can think of it as an energy bubble that surrounds your physical body. And so every single one of us has an energy field that goes beyond the physical body. And basically what this energy field is your personal universe. So everything on the inside of your aura is yours, is you, is your personal creative universe. And everything on the other side is something or somebody else. So you can think of us on this planet like little mini gods, little aspects of divine consciousness. And we're here to be creator beings, to learn how to create in the physical reality. And our energy field is our personal space for doing that. And you determine what is going to be created through your energy field by what you store in the energy field. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the law of attraction. Some people call it the law of cause and effect, or karma, but it basically, they're all talking about the same principle, which is whatever you are is what is going to be reflected back at you. And your aura is a storehouse of whatever you are. And basically, it's got everything about you in that storehouse of information. And you can learn to have dominion over that energy field, that personal, private, creative universe. And you can learn how to determine what it is that you are carrying around in your energy field. Although most people in the human race right now are very unconscious about it. And so they are unconscious creators of their reality rather than conscious creators of their reality. Now, the aura, the human energy field, is multidimensional in nature. It's multidimensional. It's not based in 3D reality like the physical body is. And it actually emanates from the chakra system. And there's another chapter in my book. Well, actually, there's loads of chapters about chakras. There's an introductory overview chapter, and then each of the chakras and the psychic abilities that are channeled through them are broken down. So basically what the chakras are energy centers, which are conduits for your higher information. And each of those energy centers emanates an energy field. So there is a layer of your auric field that is emanating from each of your chakras. And so the main 7 chakras are creating an auric field with 7 interpenetrating layers of energy. All right, so I have a few metaphors that I really like to use for teaching about the aura. So let's explore some of them, because it can help to develop an understanding of what exactly the aura is. It's been called the Book of You. I mean, it literally is a multi-dimensional tome of information all about you. That book is it's a repository of everything that's happened to you this lifetime, your thoughts, your memories, your emotions, your belief systems, everything can be accessed through your energy field. So that's why it's been called the Book of You, because it literally is. It's part of your Akashic record, actually. The Akashic record being the record of everything that ever was, is, and ever will be, recorded in the skein of time, space, reality. So you have your own personal Akashic record, and your auric field is part of it. You also have a past life energy field, by the way, that's the accumulation of all of the lives you've ever lived. So it's been called the Book of You. It's also been called the fingerprint of God. The reason being that it's unique, just like a fingerprint, it is completely unique. Your aura is individual to you. It's not like anyone else's energy field, and the same goes for everybody else. And so it's your unique energy signature, your unique energy frequency, your unique set of information. It's like a fingerprint. Unlike a fingerprint, because they say really our fingerprints, they stay the same more or less for the whole of our lives, whereas your aura is always shifting and changing. It's constantly in motion. It's not a static thing like a fingerprint, because your life experience is expanding in every moment. You're adding to it, you're changing it in every moment. Another analogy, and this is a biblical one, it's your coat of many colors. It's literally your coat of many colors. Your aura is not one color, it is many colors. So sometimes people buy a book, or they go and get a reading with someone, and they'll say, well, your aura is orange, or your aura is pink. And that might be one of the colors in your aura, but it won't be the only one, because there are many different frequencies of energy all intermingling within your personal energy field. Now, one of my favorite analogies for teaching about the aura is to think about the cuttlefish. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with a cuttlefish. I'm a biologist originally, so I kind of like things with animals. And if you haven't seen one, Google it, because there's lots of YouTube videos where you can watch cuttlefish, and they're a bit like squid, that's like a marine cephalopod. The skin of a cuttlefish is got all of these little skin pigments, and it is constantly shifting and changing and making different patterns and different colors on the surface of its skin. And as it goes through different experiences, like let's say it sees a mate, and so it will change its energy for its skin to signal its interest in its mate. Or if it sees a predator, it will change the pattern of color pigments on its skin in response to that. So whatever, all of these different things and behaviors going on in the cuttlefish's experience, it is changing the colors that it is broadcasting. And I think of the auric field a little bit like that. As we go through our life experience, our everyday life experience, our energy field is shifting just like that cuttlefish. It's going to look different if we are sexually attracted to somebody. It's going to look different if we are angry. It's going to look different if we are being inspired. It's going to look different if we are exercising. It's going to look different if we're in grief because of some terrible loss that has happened. So it's constantly shifting and changing. And like I said, if you want a visual of that, then Google cuttlefish, because they give you a pretty good idea of what our energy field is like. And in the book, I actually talk a lot about it being your global positioning device. And the reason I say that is because at any point in time, it will tell you where you are, as in, what's your physical state, what's your mental state, what's your emotional state, what's going on spiritually. It's your global positioning device. And then if you can learn to read your aura, then that is a really good guidance technique for being able to see, well, where am I and where am I headed? Because whatever growth you are going through is going to be reflected within that energy field on all of the different levels of your experience. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the aura before we go to break in about 5 minutes. So we've said
Hey, that's my job. By the way, cuttlefish aren't they ugly?
No, they're beautiful. I love them. I think they look really gorgeous, actually. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Maybe if you look at them, you'll think that they're ugly, but not me. I like them. All right, so I was going to talk about some more.
I have a couple of questions if you want. Yeah,
I know. Let's wait till after the break. I'm actually posting another couple of questions in the chat for you as well, Corey. But if I finish my what I wanted to say about it, and then we can just use the rest of the show for questions.
Okay. Well, we'll hold on then.
Yeah, thank you. So we've said it's a vibrational field of energy that surrounds you. And we've been talking about what it looks like. It looks like kind of clouds of fast moving or slow moving colors. And maybe cloud is not the right word, because they can be cloudy or they can be clear. And like I said, these energies emanate from the chakra system, and each of the chakras, if you know the chakras, relates to a different aspect of your reality. So each of the layers of your auric field also relates to a different aspect of your reality. And they're all intermingling with one another. Because, as humans, we sort of, to make us understand this stuff, we sort of pass it out into neat little containers. Oh, there's my first chakra, my second chakra, my third chakra. But actually it is an interactive system. So, and each of the layers vibrates at a different frequency. It vibrates at a different frequency for several reasons. One is that because it's emanating from the chakra system, each chakra relates to a different aspect of reality, and they go up the vibrational scale as you're moving from more of a focus on physical reality and the density of physical matter to the higher aspects of through the crown chakra of your higher self and your spiritual reality. So the layers of the aura reflect different frequencies, but also what is going on in your life experience, for example, on the level of your heart center or the level of your second chakra. And that also influences the vibration that's going on there. And what information are you channeling to help you from your higher repository of information through the chakra? And so all of that impacts what vibration is going on within the energy field. Now, I'll just quickly go through very briefly the different layers, very briefly. So the first layer would relate to survival, physical reality, experience. Second layer would be relationships, emotions. Third layer would be your energy distribution and your out-of-body experience. Fourth layer, connectedness, unconditional love, acceptance. Fifth layer, communication. Sixth layer is sort of your clarity, and the seventh layer is your higher wisdom. And so we can get, by understanding the aura and by reading the aura, we can get a really amazing overview of each and every individual. Like I said, it's always in flux, it's always changing. So you get your aura read at one point in time, don't think, well, that's what it is and that's how it's set, because you could go back a week later and it could be actually completely different, and definitely a year later it would be different. And at the rate we are shifting on the planet right now, probably tomorrow it would be very different. All right, so I've said that it stores all the information about you, your thoughts, your beliefs, your memories, your emotions. And it stores them as kind of distinct units of electromagnetic energy. And to somebody's clairvoyant vision, that could appear like a color, but it can also look like a defined shape or symbol or image, like a photograph or a video, for example. All right. Now, how can we tell if the aura is healthy?
I'll tell you after the break.
Oh, okay. Listeners, you're tuning in to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley and with Corey. And Unlocking Your Truth is a talk show about metaphysics and spirituality. We're broadcasting from 101.7 FM across the Fraser Valley from the unceded territory of the Stolo Nation. We'll be back after these messages. So for everyone live streaming, because of the radio show, we just pause temporarily because there's going to be advertisements that come in every 20 minutes.
Okay.
So, yeah. Welcome back, listeners, to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley and with Corey.
I'm still here.
So we're talking about the aura, the human energy field. And I did say we'd go to some questions after the break. So why don't we do that? And I think you've got some questions, Corey, do you?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things here. I've got from Steffi. She says, how do you make your aura strong?
How do you make your aura strong? All right, well, I'll answer that question. But it's funny. So let's use an analogy to talk about what is a strong aura. Because we might think, well, it's sort of solid, like a brick wall, and nothing can penetrate it and nothing can touch it, and that's a strong aura. When actually a strong aura is where there's no resistance, where you're not in resistance to anything. And there's a biblical reference. It talks about be like the reed that bends in the wind. And if you think about a dry twig and the wind comes along, it's going to snap, you know, but the reed is all bendy and flexible. So you might want to think about a definition of strength and strong, because you're gonna have problems if you're in resistance. So let's say, I don't know, you're having an argument with somebody and somebody's coming at you energetically, and you want to have a strong aura to stand your ground. So if you go into resistance to that person, you're just going to amplify and accentuate that aggressive confrontational experience. Much better to be non-resistant, to be grounded, and to even imagine that your energy field is like glass or like a crystal, that light is just going to go through one side to the other side. And that way you are not going to get the psychic attacks stick to you, the energetic attacks stick to you. You're not going to, you're going to be going along with the flow of life rather than fighting it. I hope that makes sense to you. And, you know, a lot of the stuff that I teach in my courses, and there's some of that information available to everyone on the website, which is how to ground, that helps you make a strong aura, because it actually helps you to be present within your energy field and occupying your own space. Because believe it or not, a lot of us are not really in our bodies. Then we're not really in our energy field. We're sort of floating off somewhere. So you want to be grounded. So it's, I'm here, this is my personal universe. And you want to have a way of the energy that you don't want to stick going through you, and grounding will also help you release and let go of that. And, you know, learning about your energy field, learning how to be aware of your energy field. You want the energy field to completely surround you, like you're sitting in the center of an egg. And it's actually quite common for people to not have their aura go under their feet, or not have their aura go behind their back, for example. So developing some aura awareness so that you can use your consciousness to manipulate your auric field is also something that is helpful for that suggestion. All right. Well, so that's the answer to Steffi's question. I think you got some more questions, Corey.
I sure do. And this is a question from Kelly. Kelly says, how do I learn to both accept and love where I am while creating something new, because I've outgrown where I am? So I attract a healthy change, consciously create, instead of feeling trapped where I am and hoping for a change which reflects and creates a stuck situation and more of the same. It's hard to not get in a low, kind of desperate state and stay in a creation and hopeful state. It seems this is really connected to my aura.
Okay, so I think I've managed to pick the main parts of that. So, okay. Two things to say about that, because people do this a lot. They say, why am I here at point A when I should be at point B, you know? And so they're not accepting where they are. In order to move on, you have to accept where you are. You have to be in a complete state of acceptance, because if you're not in a state of acceptance, you're in a state of resistance, and what you resist persists. So that's number one. To let go of all resistance. And there are energy techniques that you can learn, Kelly, to help you let go of resistance and non-acceptance. But I would also, so part of it is managing your energy, cleansing your energy, clearing your energy, healing your energy, finding where am I harboring darker, denser energies that are out of alignment with what I'm asking for, and clearing them out of your space. Because you create what you are, basically. So whatever's showing up in your reality is reflecting back at you what you are. So if you don't like it, look inside and say, well, what's in here that's a reflection of? That said, we are physical beings in time, space, reality. And so people often get caught at that tipping point where it's about to get changed, but it's not changed yet. So let me explain what I mean. As spirit, when you make a change, the change happens instantly. As spirit, there's no time and space. But if you want to manifest that change through the human experience, through the physical body, there's time and space. So it takes physical reality a little bit of time and space to catch up to the spiritual creation. And that's what causes a problem for a lot of people, because they're like, well, I've done the work, I've cleared the thing, I've done these manifestation techniques. Why aren't I seeing it now? And the trick is to hold that energy and continue to hold that energy as time, space makes the adjustment to reflect back the change that you've made. So I hope that helps. And what I would say, Kelly, is that there are energy techniques that you can use as well to help you navigate this. And that's what I teach in my courses. All right, Corey, next question.
The next question is, will one wine of glass negatively? Here's a question for Lesley, Dr. Lesley. Will one glass of wine negatively impact the aura? Great question, Jess. Great question. Thank you.
So drinking too much does affect the aura. One glass of wine, I think, is all right. But for example, if you've been really drunk and you feel this spinning, that's your energy field is spinning. So if somebody comes to me and they are drunk, I won't read them, because there's no point in reading. Number one, the information won't sink in. And number two, it's not stable. So it does affect your energy field. But one glass, drunk at your leisure, it can help you relax and let go of a bit of resistance. All right. So, Corey, there was 2 questions that got sent ahead of the show, and I think we should definitely answer those either now or after the break. So what else have you got for me?
I don't have another question for you here at this moment.
Oh, I put them in the chat box. There's 2.
Oh, you did? Okay.
One from George and one from Ina.
Okay, you put them in the chat box of Zoom, I presume. Yes. Okay. Whoa, it's a book.
Yeah, I hope you can separate the 2 questions. They're all kind of
What time is it here? We've got a few minutes. I guess we can do one for sure. Hi, Dr. Lesley. I'm enjoying your work. I wonder if you can comment on the following in light of a recent global events. We can wash our hands, etc., to practice proper hygiene to keep viruses at bay. What kinds of things would you suggest to cleanse and strengthen our auric fields and transmute negative energy, violet flame, on a regular basis? Attunement of a frequency to a vibration of love versus fear is very important at this time of awakening. The universe has has mysterious ways of helping us turn into our higher frequencies and remember our oneness. I'm writing this on the topic and would love your input. Thank you. And it's from Ina.
That's a great question, Ina, and a multifaceted question. And you've answered your own question in a couple of ways, but I can definitely expand on it. So what kinds of things can we do to cleanse and strengthen the auric field and transmute negative energy? So I've mentioned a couple of them already. You want to make sure it's completely surrounding you. So you've not got any holes in your aura, or it's not gaping at the back and that kind of thing. There are energetic protections that you can use. I mentioned one of them. It's a technique called body of glass, where you perceive that your aura is like a clear crystal or a clear glass, so that energy out of alignment with you and your highest, greatest good is going to just flow through the energy field rather than stick to it. There are high healing vibrations of energy that we can consciously expose the aura to or run through the aura. You mentioned one of them, the violet flame. Silver is an excellent, silver and platinum are excellent antiviral, antibacterial energy frequencies because they are very, very high energy frequencies. And actually the metallic element silver is used in the body as an anti-infective. And so if you can imagine that your energy field is filled with a silver light or a platinum light, or as you say, you're standing in a violet flame, they can be really helpful for warding off the silver and gold for warding off infection. Sorry, I said gold. I meant to say platinum. Gold is another very high vibration. Gold is the vibration of love, basically. It's the Christ force vibration, another high healing energy vibration. So in your meditations, by visualizing that you have a column of gold light and it's filling your entire energy field. Some people also create different geometric shapes around them that are of a particular vibration. So there's one, it's kind of like a weird banana shape. I don't know if I can describe, you know how a banana is like this, it's like, it's like more like an S shape, but that you're inside an S shape and it's made of silver energy. Some people imagine the Merkaba around them, which is if you imagine two pyramids superimposed on one another. So there's different geometric structures that people use. There's other techniques that people use to mirroring to reflect and ward off energy, for example, and other things where you're absorbing and arcing off the energy before it actually goes into your field. So there's a lot that you actually can do. You can ask your guides to help you. You can hire a healing guide specifically to help you with it. All of the basic techniques that I teach, which are grounding and running earth and cosmic energy through your system so that you've got these energies constantly circulating and cleansing and flushing out the energy field. If you know how to safely do it, running your Kundalini energy, because your Kundalini energy is highly transformational and it will burn away any sickness, it will burn away any negative energy, it will transform it and transmute it. What else? Look at yourself and what you're believing, right? Are you buying into all the fear mongering? Are you in a state of resistance and fear? Or as Ina says, are you holding the vibration of love? But I would also say, trust your soul and your higher self, that there's purpose in whatever experience you end up having. And so if by some happenstance you end up catching the virus, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person, a low vibration being, that you didn't do your energy work correctly. It just means that there's some higher purpose for you going through that experience. And it certainly doesn't mean that you're going to die either. The vast majority of people are coming out absolutely, all right.
I think there's a lot of media hype around this, and I think this is one of the. It's been a long time since we've had something that the media could grab a hold of and just run with. And I'm not trying to downplay it at all, but that's the feeling I get. That's the sense I get out of it. I mean, here in BC, we've had, I don't know how many cases, 28, 30 cases in BC, and one person just died, and this was a person again in the senior citizens home. If people the run on toilet paper and all this stuff, people are panicking for I don't think for any reason, instead of thinking negatively about it. Like you say, let's put some positive light, let's surround the positive lights and positive energy around this, and as opposed to worrying about everybody dying, let's get everybody living, like get that positive energy out there.
And maybe in the next section we can do a short meditation together. One thing I would like to say is we don't want to go, there was something that Ina said in her message which I thought was very good, and I can't remember it exactly, but it was
what was it about?
It was something to do with that it, like it being an opportunity for us to reconnect and realize our oneness and our interconnectedness. And so this segmenting off and saying, well,
Yeah.
it's only going to affect old people, so I don't need
Yeah.
to worry.
No, that's not what I mean.
You know, I know, but I wanted to make that point that
Yeah.
it's really potentially a force that brings us all together.
Here it says, awakening the universe has mysterious ways of helping us tune into our higher frequencies and remember our oneness.
Yeah. It defies international borders. It brings us together as a human family rather than these separate silos that are different to each other.
Yeah. And it's time for another break.
Yeah, and there's just one more point I'll make before we
Sure.
go to break, which is, of course, you should always listen to whatever the medical authorities or
Oh,
government,
without a doubt.
even though we're spiritual.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I'm washing my hands. I'm staying out of crowded places and things like that too. Just to, I would do that if there was an influenza of any type going around in one way. But I'm not changing. I don't find I'm changing my lifestyle that much. But
Right, listeners, you've been tuning in to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley and Corey, and today we're talking about the human energy field, and we'll be back after these messages.
yay!
So we're in a break. I'll just invite people to post their questions.
More questions.
And George has given us about 3 questions, by the way, wrapped in one.
We know. We love George. Keep it
Yeah.
up, George. We love you.
So folks, we'll be back in a second. So if you have a question about the human energy field, please post it.
I still don't see where George is putting these messages.
I've put it in the chat box.
Yeah, but where has? Oh, this was earlier on that he gave them to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back, listeners. You're tuning in to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley and with Corey, and we're talking tonight on Unlocking Your Truth, which is about metaphysics and spirituality, about the aura, the human energy field. And we've been doing a very rapid journey through all the information about that. And we're also answering your excellent questions about the auric field as well.
Okay. So here's one from George. I'm going to split it up like you say. If this show's about auras, can natural crystals or stones affect the auric field colors? I saw a video of an experiment using an electronic aura monitor while the subject had quartz next to them to the inspected area. And are those machines reading the same colors with the same accuracy as someone who can see there with a spiritual eye or whatever method they use?
Okay. So the first question being, can natural crystals or stones affect the aura and the energy field colors? I believe the answer to that is yes, and I'll explain why. Crystals can absorb energy, transmit energy, and amplify energy. So, and they're used for those purposes. They're used to absorb and siphon off negative energies. They're used to transmit particular energy signatures and amplify energies by people who include crystals in their practice. And so, yes, if it's absorbing an energy from the auric field, that energy it's absorbing has a frequency that's then being removed from the energy field. If it is injecting an energy signature or reprogramming the energy field with a new energetic frequency, then that also would have a vibration that could be perhaps seen as a color. And if it's amplifying the energy, then that might potentially make the color deepen or change in some way as well. So yes, crystals can affect the color of the energy field, the quality of the energy field, and what energy is actually present there. And then he says, are the machines that read the aura as accurate as a psychic who reads the aura? So I'll approach that in a few different ways. I'm not an expert on all those machines that are out there, but I know that I've encountered some of them, and there are different ones based on different technologies. So they're getting their data in different ways, and they're creating their reproduction of the energy field in different ways. And so that's one thing I'd say, is that the techniques that they're using are different. I don't know if anyone's ever compared one of these machines to another, but I can't comment on the accuracy of one versus another. But what I would say is, in the question, you're assuming that there's one correct answer, right? And actually there isn't. Because anytime we read the aura, anytime even a psychic reads the aura, we're simplifying, we're boiling it down to the key components. We would be there for many lifetimes if we wanted to read everything in somebody's aura. So what we tend to do is say, what's the main frequency on the first layer of this person's aura? There might be 5 frequencies or more on the first layer of somebody's aura. We pick the main one. And so, and when you look at those images that come from machines, I would say that they're also picking sort of the major vibrations out. So that's one thing, that there's a correct answer. There's many things going on in somebody's energy field that you could home in on. And depending what somebody asks about, you might home into a different frequency or not. The other thing I would say is that if you have a reading line, and what is a reading line? A reading line is a row of psychics all sitting next to each other, reading the same person. Even if every single one of those psychics sets an energy frequency that is the correct energy frequency to read that subject, meaning the energy frequency is slightly ahead of where they are, even that reading line of psychics, each psychic might tune in to a different thing or see it from a slightly different perspective. It doesn't mean that that one of them's right and the others are wrong. It just means there's a lot of information there to be plugged into. And we're all going to perceive it in unique ways depending on our experience and our, where we end up focusing. So multiple readers working on the same person can complement each other actually and bring different aspects of information forward. So I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, I just make a comment on that, on the stones and things like that. I remember at one point years ago, I was in a negative state, quite anxious and stressed, and a friend of mine gave me a hematite, a pure hematite bracelet, and I wore that thing day and night, especially to bed. And I can tell you, it really did help calm the energy.
Hematite's very grounding.
Yeah. And so let's go on with this question. He says, are these machines reading the same colors with the same accuracy? Someone can see them in the next round. I had an online aura reading. Someone used my picture that I sent. And among other things, I was told that I'm very, very spiritual, which is not really accurate. I guess that she used the software that reads the picture. Is there a detectable aura on non-living organisms? I am told that a type of crystal I have is able to change the aura of the. Oh, no, that's another question. So can somebody read the aura of a picture? I would think auras change, right?
Yeah. Okay, so what's happening when somebody asks for a picture? They're not really reading the aura in the picture. If they're a good psychic, they're just getting the picture as a way of helping them tune into the person, but then they would be directly tuning into the aura of the person if they're good at what they're doing. So for example, I do aura readings all the time with people the other side of the world, and I'm reading their aura. I don't need a picture to read that aura because I tune into that aura. So I think that the picture, the photograph, is just a kind of interface that somehow gives the psychic a way of feeling like that's how they tune into the person. And I said, if it's a good psychic, I mean, I can imagine if it's not a good psychic, there can be things that they're doing there with that picture that might not be accurate, because they might be looking at the expression of the person. And if the person looks miserable, they might read it one way versus if the person looks happy. But that photograph might have been taken, you know, a week ago and they're feeling completely different. So a good psychic can read long distance the auric field. There was another question buried in there, which is there an aura on non-living organisms? Yes. Every material substance has an electromagnetic energy field surrounding it. Everything has an aura.
Well, you know, every living creature, every material. What's the term? Every material thing.
Every material substance. Every
So,
physical
but
object.
do non-material substances such as spirit, they must have some form of aura?
They are energy.
Yeah.
So they
So
don't have they don't necessarily have the physical. So we're talking about a physical thing that has an energy field beyond the boundaries of the physical part of them. Something that's an energy being, they are made of energy, and you can see their energy in a similar way that you might see the aura using clairvoyance, but that their energy is not surrounding a physical particle or material object, is it? Because they don't have a body.
Yeah, that's so if it like I've seen spirit. Okay, I've seen spirits, if you want to call it that. And there was a form of emanation from them. It wasn't just like there was an auric emanation from them of some sort. I won't say more or less, if I remember correctly, the last time was a golden emanation. So would that be an aura?
Give me a moment to, I don't know whether I would call it the same name, but give me a moment. So if the being is non-physical, the being is consciousness and is an energy frequency. That energy frequency can be seen. That being, that consciousness can also project pictures and vibrational frequencies into messages. So, for example, a spirit guide could project the image of an old man with a stick to recognize them by. That's not what the spirit guide looks like. That's the spirit guide projecting an image as a communication to somebody. The spirit guide might just look like a particular vibration of energy, like a pink vibration or a gold vibration or a silver vibration. So I'm making a distinction between something that is physical and non-physical. And I'm using the word aura to mean the energy field that surrounds physical. But we could expand the definition. And at the beginning of the show, we said, didn't we, that you have a past life energy field, which actually is behind your main energy field. Does that answer your question, Corey?
Yeah, it does. It does. I think it does.
Good.
Because you're so wonderful.
All right. Well,
next question.
Oh, very good. Yes. Yep.
So I'm told here another wine question, Dr. Lesley. I'm told that a type of crystal I have is able to change the aura of the wine and now beer I'm experimenting with. I wish I could see these energies. Way to go, George.
Yeah, not really a question, but sure. That's
no. It's how.
How can he see the energy?
Yeah.
The way to activate your clairvoyance is to place your conscious awareness in the center of your head, in the center of your sixth chakra, in your pineal gland. There you go. That's how. And there's actually a meditation on my website that you can download. But I'd recommend getting my book and doing the exercises in the book. So the book's called Intuition and Chakras. And George, you actually get a free mini course included in the book that will teach you centering, which is the technique that activates the third eye. And then you can see energy. Do we have any more questions, Corey?
There's nothing that I can see. You comment. Jess said thank you. This is good news for what you answered her. And Steffi said thank you. Go with the flow. And yes, I do your grounding and centering meditation.
All right.
So it's up to you now.
Well, I should talk a bit more about the aura.
Oh, talk about aura colors and how people have designated colors to each and every aura that's out there, and they're not changing. Or did we already discuss that?
We already talked about that. I thought what I might like to talk about is a bit more about aura awareness.
Okay.
And because you might not think that you've experienced your aura, but we've all experienced our aura, and I'll give you some.
You've got 3.5 minutes.
So think about the difference between going out for a walk in nature and walking into a crowded elevator. Most people naturally expand their aura when they're in nature and pull it in if they're in a crowd, right? So if you think about that, you'll probably be able to just tune into how you feel differently when you're in a crowd, like an elevator or a supermarket or something. And you're probably naturally pulling your energy field in closer as a kind of protection. Because, excuse me, if your aura field is out, filling a room, and the room is full of people, you are going to be experiencing the energy of all the people in the room, which can be very confusing and overwhelming. This is part of what happens with these people who describe themselves as empaths and very sensitive. They could learn a lot by learning awareness of their auric field and how to control the auric field so that they are not expanding their aura and experiencing other people's reality, or if somebody's aura is engulfing them, that they have ways of releasing that foreign energy. So, and the other things that maybe we could talk about is, well, what's a healthy aura or what's an unhealthy aura? And I would say in general, if the energy is moving, it's healthy. If it's not moving or it's slowed down, then there's something going on there. If the energy, it doesn't matter what color it is, if it's bright and it's clear, then it's healthy, right? But if it's dark, cloudy, dull, not flowing, then there's some kind of issue going on. All right. So we've been talking about the energy field, and I think we've covered a lot of ground. The other thing we talked about is reality creation. And you create your reality through your energy. So when you think about
I was just thinking about that.
It's very important, isn't it? To have some awareness of it and start to have some conscious control of it and way of cleansing it and clearing it and releasing what is not in your highest and greatest good, because whatever's in your aura is being beamed out at we're all like these little lighthouses beaming out these signals to the cosmos, you know. And maybe it's a complex signal, but that's why if you can manage just even your vibration to be in a vibration of love, like I think Ina was saying, that that's going to get you a different result than if you're entertaining hatred and fear and lower vibration energies. So the law of attraction says whatever you are is what's being delivered to you. The other thing I didn't say, by the way, you can also sort of think of the auric field a bit like a reality filter. So you look out at the world through your energy field, and the world looks in at you through your energy field. So if there's a bunch of crap in your energy field, you're not looking through rose-colored spectacles, you're looking through SHIT colored spectacles. And the world is looking at you through that muck as well. And so if you want a clear perception of reality, keep your energy field clear.
And on that note,
And
we're
on
going
that
to say
note,
good night.
we'll say good night. Thank you so much for listening to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley and Corey, celebrating my book, Intuition and Chakras. And tonight we talked about one of the chapters in the book, which is aura, the human energy field. And you can go to drlesleyphillips.com to find out more about the book.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Take care.